Hey, Julia Barzyk here from Wise Investigator. So I invite you to think for a moment with me about how an entrepreneurial mindset could help you in the funding process. Now, if you're a PI running your own research program, you're doing independent research, you have an entrepreneurial mindset towards your research. That's 100% the case, or you wouldn't be in the position that you're in. No one is telling you what ideas to research. No one is putting all of the pieces together and assembling a team for you to make this research happen. That's you leading it based on your ideas. And so you should already be familiar with an entrepreneurial mindset, even if you haven't been thinking about yourself that way. But one of the problems, though, is that PIs can tend to forget this when it comes to the funding process, and they're looking for something to be much more structured or to kind of be moved along in a system, like a student is kind of moved along in school, in the earlier years, and even through grad school to an extent. So I found a blog post recently from HubSpot, and they outline the characteristics of an entrepreneurial mindset. So I'm going to go through those here and let you know what I think of when I think of these characteristics related to the funding process. So first of all is self-drive. Absolutely no one is going to do the outreach for you. No one is going to get the proposals written for you. That really has to be initiated from within. And you're all familiar with getting things done this way because you would all be very self-driven people, I know. We also have to think about flexibility. That's the next entrepreneurial mindset characteristic. So I see this come into the funding process when PIs have preconceived ideas about certain funders or certain processes, and they're not necessarily being flexible in terms of pursuing opportunities as they unfold and outside of a preconceived idea of how they should be. And if you do research, you are absolutely flexible because things change all the time when you're setting up to do an experiment or working with data in terms of your approaches. You must be flexible until you find the way that works, and eventually you get it to work. Creativity, obviously you're creative in your research, and bring this to the funding process as well. Talk to everybody that you can talk to, not just the funders, but potential collaborators, and see what ideas pop to mind for you to pursue something with the team you never thought about working with before, or making something work in a way that you hadn't thought of as being possible previously when you let that inspiration strike you and follow your creativity in the funding process as well, not just in your research, which you're already doing. Authenticity is absolutely huge. So for the funding process, what this means is presenting yourself as you are to funders in terms of both on a personal level so that you can make a personal connection and people can remember you and know, like, and trust you better, and in terms of sharing, what your research interests really are, and not reciting ideas that you think they want to hear. The last one that the blog post points out here is tenacity. So this has to do with coming back from failure. So when we try to do research, oftentimes it fails, and you come back and you adjust and you find a new way to do things or a better way to do things, and eventually, you get that measurement made. You get it done. So coming back from failure, of course, is important in the funding process as well.